to my Yin Yoga today. So find yourself on your mat, have a glass of water nearby, and let's start. So find yourself in your comfortable cross-legged position, just leaning forward, moving these muscles out of the way, so moving your thigh muscles, your bottom muscles, so you get your seated bones like this closer to the ground. So give yourself a wiggle, making sure those hips straight down. Just find yourself in alignment, maybe stretching out your back and your shoulders from the day. You can use this practice in the morning or the evening. With Yin Yoga, we just take each breath and we breathe through the nose. We use Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi breath is the constricted breath in the throat chakra. So it's like we breathe in with the stomach, filling it up, breathing with the nose, and filling in. So this is your lower jiao, your middle jiao, your upper jiao, 12 organs. So let's practice with the mouth open. And then close the mouth. But keep the in and out breath the same. But you're not expelling the breath out your mouth. You're expelling it down inside the body. So you're breathing in to your organs. You're breathing in, especially into your diaphragm. Here is the solar plexus, which is the chakra which is very locked and very tight. And this holds our trauma. So this is why, and when we open this chakra up, it opens up like a vortex. Then this area, the lungs, the immune system, the heart, the joy, the clarity of the mind, this opens up. And then the lower jiao from this one, expands like this, and it expands into the lower areas of like your adrenal glands that sit at the back of the kidneys here, the back of the hamstrings that get very tight, and digestive system, etc., and womb and genital areas. So the core is a really big one to breathe into. So as we breathe in, let's just do that again. This is the Ujjayi breath. So I'll just lift so you can see my stomach. So when we do the faster breath like this is breath of fire. So breath of fire. So we have like little sneezes. And the slowing down is Ujjayi breath. We'll make sure we get this breath started at the beginning of the practice. As this what leads us. This is our Dantian. We're making sure that our thinking process is in with our body. This is how to ground ourselves, how to earth ourselves. Our wood element and our earth element is our core. How to ground and earth yourself in your own body is to ground yourself into your body. And then we can breathe, depending on what stretch we are doing, we can breathe into the muscles and the tendons that are needing the oxygen. If you feel any sharp, stabbing, difficult sensations, then retract from the position. If you're feeling dirty, which is an achy or an awkward position, then we breathe into it. This stretching of the muscle also tonifies the muscles, bringing blood and chi to an area where it's been very deficient. And this is where we use the breath work. The breath work in yoga can totally change your practice. So that's why I'm focusing on it before we move into our first positions. Okay, now lying down onto your mat, let's find ourselves into Shavasana. And scooping the shoulders down, scooping the sacral, scooping the shoulders so you have a nice space between your ears, and scooping down the bottom. Let's start with our breath of fire. So we're going to do 3 sets of 20, breathing in. And let's go. And relax. Feeling that prana life force energy moving around the body. 20 more pumpings. So I'm doing a slightly louder Ujjayi breath, and breath of fires is speeded up so you can hear me. Take a deep breath in, 20 more. And then just bringing these knees in, hugging them into your armpits, rocking side to side, opening the knees one way, just waking up these hips and opening the hips the other way. So we're going to come into our ab exercises just to awaken the core. So we're leading with our hara, our first brain, our stomach. So you can either keep your head down onto the ground or come with me, lifting the head, resting on your hands with your elbows wide. With your legs up straight if you can. If you need to add a bend, then do. If you can follow all the way and come back down fully, otherwise just come halfway. So we're going to do 20, 3 lots of 20 again. Breathing in, use your Ujjayi breath and go. And have a rest. Feeling that energy starting to flow around the body. Focus on your breath coming under the belly button, locking your pelvic floor, lifting, looking up, breathing in, engaging the core. Let's go. And just rest. As we rest, we just feel that life force. It's called chi or prana life force, energy, oxygen, circulating around the whole body. When this is activated, we lead with the heart, we lead with the stomach, and we lead with the breath. Lifting up, let's do 20 more. I'm losing my count. I do this in my classes. I'm going to do extra 10. Why not? Just rest if you need. You're at home, so you can do what you need. Slightly bend these knees if you need a little slight rest. Totally lost my count now. 1, 2, 3, and then just bring them in and rest. Open up the knees, bring it back round. So we're going to do bicycle pumps now. So we awaken these side obliques. We've got the core awoken with the leg lifts. Just take some breaths. 3 sets of 20 as well. Your tummy and your core will be thanking me. So lifting the head. Try not to scrunch up this head. If you get lower backache or neck ache, then you need to reduce down the level. Either leave your head on the ground or do less leg stretching. We're going to do 20 left to right. So take a deep breath in, lift up, and let's go. Joy breath. And relax. 2 more to go. So this breath is very important. It's like your inner lines roar. It's like a little growl. Might sound like the ocean to yourself in your ears. When I teach, I do make it loud so you can hear me, just to remind you to keep in that breath. And relax. 1 more set to go. So give it your all. Big breath in. And let's go. Head up. Okay, just opening, stretching those knees, giving yourself a little hug. We're just going to do some rolls, spinal massage. Oh. Let's do a couple more. I'm going to roll off my mat. And then coming up, we're coming into sitting. So just coming into one cross-legged. And again, just like the before, just lean slightly forward, so you're moving your thigh muscles away from the bone and your glutes away from your sitting bones, so you can feel yourself more grounded. Maybe tapping out any stuck energy. I had some in my chest then. Take some deep breath. This is your lung 1 in acupuncture. This is like the gorillas when they beat their chest. Very good for cough, cold, fatigue. You actually can palpate it. When you palpate this area, this lung channel comes all the way down here to your thumb. I just felt mine was a little bit blocked. I do sound vibration in my soul surgery, so when I practice, if I make a vibrational sound when I do yoga posture, depending on what chakra or what meridian that we are stretching, opening, breathing into, you can use a vibration. Or if you use a jai breath and you open the mouth, or a sound comes out, you will automatically make the sound of that channel and that chakra that we're unblocking. So especially if you're at home, if you're embarrassed in the room of a yoga, not that you need to be, but you can practice making these sounds. So let's just close your eyes, focus into your third eye, opening your crown up to the sky. So we have yang energy, focusing your energy from your root chakra all the way down your spine, down your yin body, all the way down into the ground. So you connect yourself to Mother Earth. So let's follow the left hand up, following our drishti, which is our middle finger, pericardium channel, leaning down onto that hand and lifting the opposite arm. Taking deep breath. You might want to take a few breaths before you release down and down and down, coming onto that elbow if you can. If not, coming you just as much as you can on that left hand. Looking up to the hand, we have a focus point. It's called our drishti. We look at the hands and follow these fingers here. This is the muscle that protects the heart. So we lead with our heart. Yoga is a meditation practice. And how we connect to our soul and our heart and our spirit, which is our body. So as well as stretching this side body, like a seated triangle. Imagine a back against a wall. Not forgetting to breathe in with the tummy. So breathing in with the nose, filling the tummy. Jai breath. Breathing into that hip, pushing it at the same time, pushing that bottom back to the ground, the right cheek. Pushing that right knee back to the ground, that push and pull. So you're getting a very deep stretch along that gallbladder channel of the right side. And engage in your breath. Just going to lift up now. Slowly into both hands. Just making sure these bottoms, both bottom cheeks are down and grounded as much as possible. Bringing both hands over this left knee. Either side. Following forward so you have your heart leading the way, your hands on your fingertips, stretching that back so that your spine is as straight as possible to start with. Bringing yourself over across that thigh and then dropping down. And let's hold it here for a few breaths. Breathing in, letting that abdomen fall onto the thigh, giving it a slight massage in the intestines. Breathing into the back of your adrenal glands and your kidneys, feeding it oxygen and blood. And we're in a nice rested position. Dropping that head for where it needs to just go, onto the floor, onto the knee. We're just hanging. 3 long breaths, telling your body. Coming out in a moment. And coming back up, let's come into our spinal twist. So you're having that right hand onto the left knee and the left hand just behind your sacral at the back. Taking your time before you fully come into your twist. There's no rush. In Yin Yoga, let's get these postures in the aligned position. Try not to say wrong and right. Just in alignment, so make sure that your root is facing down, like you feel like your spine is straight and there's that string coming through your throat. You're not clenched in your teeth, you're not clenched in your shoulders to your ears. This vagus nerve, this stress area that we normally, when we try and force ourselves into a situation. So just take this gently and then use your breath. So come up tall, filling your nose and your belly. See where that twist takes you. Now you can look over the left shoulder. Breathing deeply. So you're feeding your body the oxygen it needs, and it will trust you, and it will go into the position that you are wanting, or that your body is needing, without the force, with power. And you'll be surprised, as long as you're relaxed and you are breathing, your body will take it to quite a depth. So 3 big breaths, coming to an end in this position. Jai breath. Then coming into the middle, just give yourself a shoulder roll, forward and backwards, swap these legs over. Again, just wiggling forward so you get your bottom cheeks, glutes out the way. Moving your thighs away from the bone. Just give yourself a wiggle to align. And then looking up into your left hand, bringing the right hand down. Following that drishti. Wait for that hip to stretch out. Feed it some oxygen. And take some breaths. One side will be tighter than the other. My left side on this hip is always a little bit tighter. Position, so just be aware, take awareness. You might feel this foot in this position. I had a sprain before. And the Feeling it. So looking up into this drishti, your focus point, your hand. If it's too strenuous on your neck in this position, you can always look down at this hand at the bottom drishti. Taking deep breaths, breathing in, filling the belly. Making the belly as full as possible. Breathing behind the diaphragm, opening the heart, making sure you've got a nice space between your ears and your shoulders. You're making space between your tendons, your ligaments, your bones, your vertebrae, your spine, and your nervous system. This is the point of stretching these postures out, and each of these meridians and these chakras, they lead to the organs, and they release emotions, and they feed your soul. And they allow you to connect to source. Very good practice for meditation. 3 big breaths, deep breaths, filling the belly. And then it's just slowly coming over, not quite up and not quite over. So just bringing our bottom into alignment. Left hand and right hand either side of that knee. Following with your fingertips. Just bringing that scoop in from the hips, so you're not folding with the back, especially the upper back or the thoracic. You're first of all following forward with your heart and your eyes, with your fingertips, waiting for this tip in this lower jowl. Okay, then we have that folding, that belly is going to come onto that thigh. Relax with the breath, have a deep stretch in these adrenals in the back. And you get to your position, just dropping your arms and your head down. And then let yourself relax, giving yourself a stomach massage. Really let this belly flop onto the thigh. Filling the breath through your nose, filling the abdomen, filling your solar plexus, feeding the back. Dropping your head onto the floor. Deep breaths here. Three big breaths, coming to the end of this position. Feed it. And then slowly coming up. So we've got this twist on the opposite side that we had before. So bringing your left hand onto the right knee. Like twist. Just making sure your sacral is facing down and you're not too twisted with your bottom cheeks coming up. So make sure you're aligned before you come into the position. And then bringing that other hand behind your sacral. So we're twisting the crown, bringing your chest forward so your spine is as straight as possible. In breath, through the nose, filling your sacral, filling your lower belly. And twist. Breathe into the twist. You can feel this behind the shoulders, behind the neck, behind your thoracic, mid-thoracic, possibly a little bit lower. Very good for detoxing, twists. Liver, core, stomach, spleen, digestive system. Try and make sure your jaw is relaxed. Space between your jawline and your shoulder and your ears. Try not to clench. You don't force the position. You breathe into it. Three deep breaths. Giving it that big twist. Dry breath so I can hear it. Inside lines raw. And just bringing yourself back, rolling these shoulders. Some deep stretch up here. So we're going to come onto all fours. So just getting us ready for a down dog. So really spreading open these fingers. Your main point of focus with your hands is between the thumb and the forefinger, which is your lungs and large intestine. So maybe exercising, bringing yourself forward a little bit, opening up the wrists, which is your heart area, scooping back, stretching the back, elongating that spine, maybe twisting, looking over to the right side of your foot, looking over to the left, making sure your feet are open to knee width and hip width. Recirculating your spine, some cat-cows. Do it with your own breath and at your own speed. Learn to feel what your body needs. Listen to it. Using your in-breath and your out-breath, and then coming up to a downward dog. So opening up these elbows, opening up the armpits as if they're looking at each other, little faces. Just practicing bending those elbows helps you really open up your shoulders. So open up that back so you've got that scoop. And then let's pedal out these legs one by one. You can even lift one leg up, really stretching out the hamstrings. This sitting that we do and a lot of driving in Western life. So breathing. And then straightening that up, so we just hold this for a few breaths. Tipping your bottom so it's coming up to the ceiling. Maybe just opening up these feet. Trying to get the heels down, but it's not so essential depending on how our bodies are shaped. And then we're going to come into our plank. Shoulders above our wrists. Just coming in with our right leg. Let's do some pumps. So we're going to come here. 1, 2, 3. And raise that leg. Do 4 more. 1, 2, 3. Using your breath. So do 5 on each side. Great for your core. Very good for your power and your strength and your shoulders. My hair is tickling my nose. And then bringing that back, pedaling that out, and let's come into our child's pose, so our yin. We're going to hold this, so opening up the knees to the width of the mat, bringing our toes together. First of all, and then looking at our hands, so we are pushing the bottom back, as well as pulling our hands forward. So coming on to our fingertips, tippy toe fingertips, looking forward. So I'm pushing my bottom back, as well as stretching. It's keeping the elbows off to start with. Maybe your chin to the ground. Bringing your elbows in and hands into prayer, if you wish. Just really feeling your hips. Stretching, sitting, relaxing. Your head, this third eye, focus down to the ground. Three more breaths here. Let's do 3 deep breaths. Just bringing ourselves up slowly and forward. Going to come into our puppy. Just opening up these feet so they're at the knee width. Maybe bring them in a little, their knees to the hips. And coming forward, so scooping. The bottom is up onto the ceiling. It's a really good stretch on your shoulders, your upper chest. Just holding this position with your chin, or you can put your head side to side. Three long deep breaths, knowing you're coming out. And slowly coming to your elbows, giving yourself that weight. Just bringing yourself back slowly into heroes pose. Oh, just saying hello to those shoulders. Just giving yourself a little wriggle side to side. So we're just going to do a little toe stretch. One of lovely favourite poses. So just leaning forward onto our hands first and then scooping those toes under. You might want to move any ones that sort of get a bit crumpled or a bit stuck. And first of all, just slowly start to lean back. When I'm doing Yin Yoga, I do like to tell the body where it's going and how long it's going to be there. When your body knows you're sending it energy, breath and blood, and you tell it what's happening, it trusts you, so it can sit. It's really different to different types of exercise. And then let's slowly sit up as I've started to do, and leaning back. What happens is this bottom starts to scoop here, so just tip it back in. And we just add some weight onto those toes. And try not to bring these shoulders in when it gets a little bit sore, which it does. So again, just dropping the shoulders, relax, closing your eyes. You can bring yourself into a prayer. If it's too much for you, then do bring your hands and lean. Keep that half weight with the hands and half on the toes. Okay, but if you can come with me, then do. Closing the eyes means you focus onto your third eye, your body and your breath. So again, let's put some pressure on these toes. These are the channels of the liver, the stomach, the spleen, the gallbladder, the bladder, these lower organs. And when you use the extremity channels to open up, this chi, life force energy can travel up Here we're talking about the legs, especially coming into these adrenal glands and open it with these channels and meridians. So we have young legs again, you have energy, a lot of sleeping issues because of irritable leg syndrome. A lot of these with my clients. So this is a great technique just before bed to get some unblocking these channels. Fight and flight and stress is when your adrenal glands here become very empty. So when your nervous system is very active and not relaxed, you have problems sleeping as well. Let's do 3 long breaths. It's getting a bit sore now, especially when you're talking. Big breath. Bringing in that Ujjayi breath, locking in that lower jaw again, just checking in. And then first of all, just come onto the hands and come out of those toes really gently. It is quite sore when we do this, okay? Just slowly wiggling, just taking aware of how tight they get. These feet of ours take us everywhere. We never give them any thanks, really. We don't really think about it. So let's give that opportunity to say thank you to my feet and my soul for carrying me, taking me everywhere that I wish. So let's just wiggle. We can do this alternate stretch onto the back of our feet here. So we're stretching the front channels, which is more the stomach area, and the gallbladder too, kidneys, intestines. And just leaning back. So not quite into your camel, but just that alternate stretch of the toe stretch that we've just done. So putting your weight onto each side of that foot. There's a great stomach channel, which is very good for stomach heat. Certain channels, a lot of eczema issues, skin issues like psoriasis and rashes. And because there's a lot of liver toxic blood heat issues, it comes through the stomach. So it's a very good opening of the stomach channel, which is in that ankle joint at the front. Okay, so we can come into our camel. Let's just do that while we're here. Wasn't quite in my plan, but the beauty of doing a yoga practice at home is that you can just follow the lead of your body. I wasn't going to put this in actually, but I will just because we're doing this. So you can move these calves out of the way. If that helps. Some people are really flexible here. If you're only a little bit, it's very good for knee pains and knee joint issues and hips. In England, in the colder winter time, which is where we're at, these joints can get very cold, damp, phlegm, arthritic. Okay, so if we can just sit here and you're stretching in this stomach channel is all along here, the psoas on the front of your thighs. Okay, and if that's just enough in your practice, then do so. If you can open it up a little bit and come all the way back, then do. I can't come all the way down. My stomach channel is quite tight as well. If you do a lot of training or your muscles are quite full, like if you're a male and you do a lot of football or weights, you probably are a bit quite tight on the tendons as well. So just accept where your body goes and breathe. Closing your eyes, you can drop this head if it's relaxed and it's in your practice. Otherwise, do keep holding it up. Only relax it when you're fully relaxed in the neck. Otherwise, you can really injure your neck. So just be slow and gentle. Listen to your body. It will tell you what it can and can't do at that time. It can do everything. Okay, but only if it's ready with breath. If you're sending it breath. I don't normally use can and can't, but there is a time and a place, and feed your body oxygen for each position. The only reason you may hurt and pull something is because you're not breathing. So we're holding this position. Trying to clench the jaw. 3 long breaths. You can stay and hold it a bit longer, but there's a few more ones I want to put in today. Breathing in. Open up the lion's roar. Slowly coming back up. Let's just do that alternate child's pose. So let's just stretch it out again. Let's do a totally relaxed child's pose where you're bringing your hands beside your feet, relaxing those shoulders down, bringing your head to one side. Turning it to the other side if you need. Just making sure it's always even. And then just coming back up into your hero's pose, hands forward onto all fours, and then coming back into that downward dog, just stretching out back of those legs, those hamstrings. Opening up the shoulders, remember the armpits, giving a slight bend in the elbows. So you're trying to get that head, that forehead, or the crown onto the floor. Just stretch that hip one side to the other, whatever it needs. And we're going to come forward into this plank and leaving your left leg forward. So we're coming into our dragon pose. Dropping that back knee down. Doubling up your mat if you need. I'm on a carpet here, so I'm okay. Front leg here is at right angle. So you can use your blocks if you need or if you want. We'll keep your elbow on here onto the knee. Obviously, after a while, you don't need to lean so much. This back leg is opening the psoas here, the stomach channel again. And under here, your groin channel is your kidney channel and your bladder channel. So if you have more in your practice, give yourself a few breaths first. And that's rolling out. And just coming onto your shoulders or onto your hands, so coming down into this position here or coming down onto your forearm. Let's just hold this, bringing that knee back a little bit if it's in there. Add some space. And then relax here. Try and have your weight even on these elbows. Have a deep breath in. Three long breaths. Bring yourself up slowly from whatever position you're in. Just going to bring that alternate stretches and maybe scooping that foot over so your back knee is acting as that right angle. Your hips are square. Just check that in. Your bend is at the hips, not on the upper back. We've got this front leg straight, so we've got a nice stretch down this hamstring. So using your blocks if you need to, or your hands, trying to keep this back straight first. The goal is to try and get your tummy onto your thigh. Using your breath and let your muscles relax first. Engaging this upper thigh. Flexing that front foot. Feeding those tight muscles. These hamstrings are so underused, and also they get tight because of stress and fight and flight and the cold weather and trauma releasing. We are releasing trauma collectively. So wiggle it about if you need. Let's do 3 long breaths, deep breaths. Give it a stretch. Okay, we're going to scoot that forward and come into our pigeon so we can relax this out. So lean, putting all your weight on your hands, coming into that pigeon position. And if you want that extra twist, then scooping your shoulder through onto the opposite side. And let your body relax down, falling into the ground of Mother Earth. Coming up. Oh, scooping up onto the hands. Bringing your weight onto the hands. I'm going to come back into the down dog. Or into child's if that's too strong. Just pedaling out your hips. Then coming onto the other side shortly. Opening your shoulders. Going forward into this plank, so bringing that right foot forward, dropping that knee back down, and coming up, stretching it out, or using your blocks, letting the body sink down into that position. One side might be tighter than the other, just making those movements with the foot, making sure your front knee is right angled with the ankle. Bringing your hands down. If you have that in your practice, then your elbows. Maybe bringing that knee back a little bit diagonally. Finding this position to hold. Long, deep breath. Coming up onto your hands, coming out of that position gently. Scooping that foot over. Now your hamstring on one side is always tighter for me than the other, and this is my tighter side. Alright, so this back leg right angle here. And then the diagonal, your front leg here, slightly engaging in this thigh, flexing these toes, bringing in your blocks if you need to, want to. Trying to scoop, I just curled my back there as well. So just checking in, all these check-ins, making sure you're not clenching your teeth, making sure you're in a relaxed position, especially with yin, that you've got a little 80%. 20%, so you only come into that position maybe 60, 70, 80, and you've got all that space to breathe, so you don't forcing anything. When your body knows that you're breathing and relaxing, your muscles will just surrender about trust with your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your heart. And you'd be surprised how deep your practice can go when you get the trust of yourself and the breath. So remember to breathe in and then drop. So trying to get this tummy down. Maybe a little bend. It's very tight on my right side. On your right side is your liver and gallbladder, so it can be tighter, especially for women on this hip and this side channel here. And that's often why we're opposite. If we have any sciatica problems, knee problems on one side than the other, to just listen to your body and allow it to be special, individual, opposite, lopsided. So 3 long breaths, breathing in. Give your knee a little kiss if you can. Stretch up. And I'm just going to scoop that leg over, looking forward to my pigeon. I'm just going to move down a bit. My mat has totally moved out of my way. There we go. So coming in, coming down, relaxing. Put your head down onto your forearms, onto your fists, or flatten your arms. Or you can bring in that supine twist. There's an extra little twist on the spine. And as this is a fully supported posture from the earth, you close your eyes, rest your cheek onto the ground, make sure your chin, your jaw, your ears, your shoulders, all of that area is not clenched up. And then it is tight in that hip, but just breathe into it and it will open up. So long. Let's come to those 3 last breaths. So give it a big depth. Feel the belly, breathing into that right hip and the left shoulder if you're twisting. And slowly coming up and out, whatever position you're in, putting your body weight onto your hands, opening up the fingers so they're nice, powerful. Bringing that foot into place. We're coming into a down dog or into a child's if that suits you. I've got an itchy nose. So stretching, pedaling out all that work we've done. And just coming down back into child's pose. Stretching those hips out. Maybe let's do a little side stretch into this. Let's come to the right side, lifting that left hand on top of the right if you want. So dropping that stomach over that right side. You get a side stretch, pushing your bottom back onto the heels at the same time as stretching the left side of the body and that back. And then scooping over, just aligning. And over to the left side. Right hand on top of the left. And then moving that tummy over. Onto the left thigh. Right body stretch. You can Come back into the middle, just pushing yourself up into hero's pose, scooping those legs around. Let's come into a little stretch before we come into Shavasana. So coming forward and a slightly roll back. Come into a happy baby. Slowly. Now if it's in your practice, dropping your head. So the happy baby, we still want to keep that space that we've created in our spine. So first of all, let's scoop down, scoop the shoulders and the shoulder blades, the scapula down, and then scoop this sacral down again. We tend to automatically like squash it back up again. And then just opening the knees side to side. Bringing this right angle with the legs. Using your hands behind the thighs, not quite on the knee joint, but close by. And if you can reach up to the side of the feet, and opening that. Sometimes your jaw tends to tip and this sacral wants to rise up. Just push it back down again, with bringing the knees into the armpits. You have that right angle, and bringing that jaw back in. Tuck it in so you're holding like a squishy golf ball or tennis ball. So it's a really long spinal stretch here. And then side to side, you're giving your back a massage. So just stay here if that's enough for you, or if you want to come into the plow position. Both of these are to bring a stretch into the spine and breath work before we come into Shavasana. Okay, so don't overstretch, just do what serves you today. I'm going to come into this plow. Just bring a shuffle into my bottom. Forward, and then just coming over. Wiggling my head so my shoulder, got some space between my shoulders. Let my feet come down, my toes. Just take a deep breath, supporting my back. Then I'm going to put my hands and lock my hands together. Straighten those up, get my elbows close, and then I'm going to shuffle one side and then the other, and I get lovely space between. Just push my hands together a little bit. Allow this space to come in between my shoulders, my arms, and my neck. So really elongate that vagus nerve, my throat chakra, my spine. Then I can straighten my back and my legs. Deep breath. Really not going to come into anything more. You can use this before you do your shoulder stand. A bit more of a stretch in there. This is really just to breathe into the spine. And the hamstring. I'll bring one foot on top of the other. Stretch on the other side. Really lovely stretch. Breathe. And then whatever position you're in, slowly coming back out. Oop. Just going to move myself a little bit back. My chair, sorry. Coming back out into your Shavasana. And again, just moving the shoulders down and moving the sacral down. So stay in your Shavasana. I'm going to move so I can sit up and I'm going to do some sound. If you're watching this video, just stay onto the ground, or you can come up into meditation position if you wish. I'll do a few ohms just to finish off with this practice. But so you can stay in this position as long as you like, or continue in a meditation. Thank you for coming to this practice today, and I hope this helps. Do send me any messages of any positions or any information you might like about meridians, channels, organs, aches, pains, headaches, anything like that, or any positions that are suitable for any physical ailments, aches and pains, then do let me know. I will be back soon. And just logging in so I can